Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Another crazy lady in our first story. I take it that in her world, the bank issues a real pen and a fake pen? Such an interesting world she lives in. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. I don't like to use my real pen number. I walked into work today and I instantly knew that the day was going to be one of those days. Recently, customers have been odd, like singing in the front of the store odd, and today wasn't much different. I was ringing people up when my next customer was an older woman and she was wearing a surgical mask. I scanned her groceries and tried to make small talk with her, though. She wasn't talking back. I finished scanning her groceries and told her what the total was. Your total is $54.73. What? Your total is $54.73. You can slide your card now. What do you mean? You can slide your card now? Oh. The people behind her were starting to get bothered. All I could do was smile at them and mouth sorry. She finally slid her card and the transaction was declined. Would you mind sliding your card again? I asked. She responded, I just did. It didn't go through. You'll have to do it again. She slid the card 4 more times. People behind her started wandering to other registers. Can't say I blame them. I eventually became annoyed with this woman, so I asked her a simple question. Do you have another debit card you could use? She looked puzzled. This is my only card. I don't have another one. Okay, well, is there someone you could call to bring you some money? No, she said. The next thing she said to me left me looking dumbfounded. I don't like to use my real pen number on machines because someone could steal my information and take my money. Like I said, dumbfounded. I didn't know the best way to respond, so I said the most logical thing I could in that situation. How do you buy things? She didn't respond and she walked away. This was the most interesting customer encounter I've had. I'm not even going to try and understand the thought process behind this. And our second story. Homeless man interrupts my lunch on a restaurant patio twice to tell me to chug my drink so he can take my bottle for recycling change. I'm an American doing an exchange to study in Germany, and the concept of Pfand is very popular here. It's basically an extremely accessible system of returning bottles, plastic, glass, or even cans, in exchange for a little money back so that they can be recycled. I live in a city, and there are many beggars who walk around all day with bags or rolling carts and collect bottles to make money. Of course, this doesn't bother me or anyone else in any way. I think it's a very good thing that is helping them make money, keeping litter off the streets, and encourages recycling. People even leave bottles next to trash cans so that they're easier to be collected. Yesterday, I went to lunch in the city center at a little chain Asian food restaurant and sat on the patio with my friend. We each got our meal and a bottled drink. My friend gave him his empty bottle and I continued to eat. That's when I noticed the bottle collector didn't leave. He was standing, staring expectantly at my unfinished drink. I'll be me, and we'll call our pushy friend BC for bottle collector. Me. Sorry, I'm still drinking it. BC, can I have it? Me. No, I'm not finished yet. He seemed frustrated and walked off, and my friend and I shared a moment of incredulous conversation and then continued our meal, thinking it was the end of it. Not 5 minutes later, he walked past our row again and stops in front of our table and motions to my drink. In between eating and talking to my friend, I'd probably had 2 sips. Me. I'm still drinking it. BC, impatiently, just finish it. I couldn't believe it. He actually was interrupting strangers during their meal to tell me to chug a drink I'd paid for just so he could take my bottle. Me, angrily, no, I'm still drinking it. I'm not going to down the rest of it right now. BC at this point gets really huffy that I won't give it to him, but still doesn't walk away. He just angrily motions to my bottle again. I told him I wasn't giving it to him and to leave. He looked mad as he did. My friend and I were blown away. It's a bit anticlimactic, but truly I was just so taken aback that someone would feel so entitled to something that someone else was still using. I understand that the poor who collect Pfand in the city use it as their primary income and the few cents on each bottle add up eventually. I gladly give my bottles away to those who need them at all times. And if I'd been done with the drink, I wouldn't have thought twice about giving it to him. I get that he didn't have anything to lose by asking me for it, but it was the insistence that really got on my nerves. He really wanted me to quickly chug my drink in front of him so he could take my bottle. Anyway, he wasn't around when I had actually finished my drink at the end of our meal, so I recycled the bottle in line at the grocery store while paying for my items. And our next story. Sister says I don't need a car, even though I'm an essential worker, then tries to steal it. A little backstory. Right now, I'm a student in college pursuing a degree in child developmental psychotherapy. This semester, I got an internship at a local mental hospital so I could get experience and make it easier for me to get into grad school later on. The hospital I work at isn't just a facility for short-term patients, though. Some of the people who live there are permanent residents ranging in age from 6 to 78. For various reasons, but I won't name specifics out of respect for our residents' privacy. Basically, our goal is to do everything possible to help people recover from a mental illness/episode and to provide a comfortable quality of life for our permanent residents. Needless to say, I deeply enjoyed my internship there. After the initial COVID-19 outbreak, all internships within the hospital were suspended until further notice. So I stopped going for a good 3 weeks and tried to focus on school. Then one of my old bosses called me, in tears, filling me in on the current state of the hospital. There had been 3 positive COVID-19 cases, out of which 2 had passed away. 12 employees had quit or simply not come into work at all anymore. And to top it all off, there was a surge in people admitting themselves or others to the facility. A good chunk of people admitted were children whose parents claimed they have some form of mental defect, although I suspect that they simply didn't know what to do with them. Once she'd finished telling me about the situation, I immediately begged her to put me on the next work schedule. She agreed, and I've been working there ever since. Now, I don't want to come across as arrogant or pretending to be a martyr or anything like that. In all honesty, I think I'm very underqualified compared to someone with actual medical experience/training. But what I do know is that these people at this hospital are dependent on us for care, support, love, and help. And I'll be damned if I just sit by and watch bad things happen to these people. Simple as that. Sorry, long backstory. On to the actual story. Ever since I started working at the hospital, my hours have been absolutely insane. There have been times where I've spent 48 to 50 hours straight at the building. I eat when I can, I sleep at 3-hour intervals so I can get up in the middle of the night and check on our residents and patients. I do my virtual lectures and homework while organizing patient files. As awful and maybe selfish as this sounds, I do try to get on my Switch around midnight and take care of my Animal Crossing town. I'm weak. Basically, I'm lucky if I'm able to spend 30 hours at my home. That's where our entitled mother, EM, comes into the picture. And yes, she's my sister. Basically, she got arrested for possession and subsequently lost custody of her son. Ever since, she's been absolutely desperate to get custody of him again, so she's been scrambling between family members trying to acquire things that make her look like a responsible parent. Baby gates, child safety locks, a new fridge, a new bed, countless new toys. I could go on and on. However, she went to her dad, my stepdad, for the most expensive thing she needed, a car. My stepdad refused because he was recently laid off because of the pandemic, and we can't really afford to be buying something so expensive and not even be able to use it. I've been giving a portion of my paychecks to my parents to help ease the burden. It's not much in the grand scheme of things, but it's enough. I don't think we're in trouble financially, but if worse came to worse, I would start giving 100% of my paycheck to them. After this conversation, EM drove to our house. Yes, drove. She had a car. And tried to plead her case with my stepdad again. I was sleeping in my room at this point, but my stepdad told me about the conversation, and it basically went like this. EM, Dad, please. I wouldn't be asking if it wasn't important. Stepdad, you already have a car, though. EM, yeah, but it's not an awesome car. I need one with heated seats and built-in GPS. Stepdad, I don't think a judge would care what kind of car you have as long as it's a car. EM, you are so selfish. I need this so I can get my son back, and you aren't even willing to help. How could you let my baby be taken away without helping me get him back? Don't you think your grandson deserves something nice after what he's been through? Stepdad: I can't afford it. I'm sorry. Even if I wanted to, I can't do anything. EM: Then let me have OP's car. Stepdad: OP needs that car to go to work. She's an essential worker. EM: That's debatable. Making sure someone's psycho doesn't go off on themselves isn't really essential. I bet she doesn't even do anything anyways. He's probably just lying about the job so she can go get high or sleep with some dude. Dad, I'm your daughter and she's nothing but some half-breed. I'm mixed race. Just give me the car. Stepdad: The answer is no. Get out. Figure this crap out yourself. I'm not helping you. I thought the situation was over after that conversation. Nope. I don't know how she did it, but EM got my work address and went there while I was working. I was on hour 5 of an 18-hour shift when my boss took me aside and told me that my car had been vandalized and she'd called the police. When I went outside to look, I saw EM handcuffed and arguing with a police officer in front of my car. Apparently, she'd tried to steal my car by breaking the driver's window and attempting to hotwire my car. When she couldn't hotwire my car, she got out, broke one of my taillights, then keyed a word that I morally refused to even type on my driver's side door. As pathetic as this sounds, I started sobbing as soon as I saw the damage. Maybe it was the lack of sleep catching up to me. Maybe it was the shock. All I know is that I was gross crying in front of my boss, EM, and the police. EM was yelling things at me, but I couldn't tell you what they were if I tried. I just went into autopilot. I gave my statement to police, confirmed that I wanted to press charges, called a tow for my poor car, and took an Uber home. I honestly hope that was the end of her bullcrap for at least a while, because I don't think I can handle any more of her everything right now. I fixed my car as much as I could on my budget. I had an extra taillight, so I put it in. I put a trash bag over the broken window and used duct tape to cover up the word she keyed into my door. Sure, it looks super ugly, but it still runs. I'm just thankful that she didn't cut anything important. The ironic thing is my stepdad's family's talking about pooling money together so they can get me a new car. When my stepdad asked me if I had any preferences, I told him I wanted heated seats and a built-in GPS. Oh, sweet karma. Bail hasn't been set yet on EM, but all I know is that after this, she is not getting her son back. I'm happy for that, though. That boy deserves so much more than she could give, and maybe now he'll get it. Edit. Boss calls at 3 a.m., approving weekend PTO to catch up on college work. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.